Guy Harvey, artist, scientist, angler, diver, conservationist, and family man. Journey with Guy to the world's greatest fishing waters, where every fish, every fight is a window on another world, where every catch is a portrait from the deep, waiting to be painted. Go exploring with Guy in the last wild country under the waves.
Big meatball right over here with a lot of striped marlin feeding on it, and I can see a couple of sea lions. Let's get ready for this one. Looks like a good one. This is what we've been waiting for. The Garota pulls up alongside a large bait ball shimmering beneath the surface and being pursued by a cavalcade of striped marlin.
So what happens is that the fish go down deep and find huge schools of sardina or mackerel, and they'll peel off a section of it, and then they start literally herding it in a circle and forcing it toward the surface so it has nowhere to go. The only thing that the bait can do is it either has to go down or away, and if it's forced up to the surface, then it's trapped on the top side, and then if the fish are swimming continuously around it, they've kind of locked it in place. Then they begin the feeding ritual of slashing through the meatball, and each one takes a turn, and they just continually go in circles, and sometimes you'll find there'll be seals on it, porpoise on it, but it's interesting how all of the different species interact with each other, and they don't really compete with each other. Sometimes you'll see a fish actually jump into the air to try to get away from it, and obviously that's not a good way to go. And as it gets smaller and smaller, sometimes they'll start out, they'll have 1,000 fish in them, sometimes 500. But as they get smaller and smaller, it gets to a point where suddenly all of this bait realizes that this schooling idea they've been taught all their lives was not such a great idea, and they all take off in opposite directions. And behind every one of them, there will be a feeder or a predator of one kind or another.
Some bait balls would seek shelter under the boat, while others took shelter under me at the surface. In one instance, when I had run out of air and was shooting while snorkeling, the sardines were inches away, with the marlin hard on their tails, providing me with the close encounters I was hoping for. In the same way the marlin avoid colliding with one another when working on a bait ball, they also avoided colliding with me. In contrast, when I found sailfish feeding on small sardines, they actually used their bills in a sideways sweep to hit their prey before turning around to eat the walking wounded. The small size of the prey prevented the sailfish from overtaking individuals, as we have seen here with the striped marlin working on the larger sardines. These encounters provided answers to questions about the use of the bill in feeding. Certainly it may be used as a feeding tool, but in this situation, the striped marlin single out a sardine and open their mouths to engulf the prey, rather than using the swipes of the bill to stun the prey. After several hours of intensive feeding, the wolf pack of marlin have whittled down the sardine school to just a few individuals that no longer remain in a cohesive school and scatter, only to be picked off. There are no survivors. The marlin then disappear into the blue in search of another feeding opportunity.